Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this week's episode of The Mandalorian Season 3, then stop and come back later. We rejoin Din Djarin as he pays a visit to Peli Motto, played by the brilliant Amy Sedaris, on Tatooine during the Bunta Eve festival in search of a new memory chip for IG-11. We get to see Grogu showing off some of his Jedi jumping skills as he jumps into her arms. Seemingly unfazed by this, she informs Mando that she doesn't have the part, but instead sells him her R5-D4 droid. Djarin, Grogu and R5 fly to Mandalore, where Mando orders the reluctant R5 to scout ahead to ensure that the atmosphere is non-toxic. When R5 does not return, Mando ventures after it and is attacked by several Alamites, a native troll-like species living in the caves. At this point, we get to see Din almost struggling to defend himself with a seemingly heavy darksaber. But despite this, he is victorious and they both head deeper into the mines. An examination of a rusted Mandalorian helmet, Djarin is captured by a General Grievous-like cyborg creature. After a brave but failed attempt to save Mando, Grogu is instructed by Din to escape and head for Bo-Katan for help. Bo-Katan returns to Mandalore with Grogu to rescue Djarin and kills the cyborg before leading Mando to the living waters. Mando begins to recite the creed to restore himself as a Mandalorian. However, a sudden drop-off causes him to sink deep into the water. Bo-Katan dives in to save him, and on the way back up she comes face to face with a mythosaur. The end. To sum it all up, I can only say that this is great Star Wars. The story of Din Djarin and Grogu hasn't really lost any momentum since its beginning. It was nice to see that Mando's attempts to teach Grogu about navigation in episode 1 and the beginning of episode 2 paid off, with Grogu managing to literally point R5 in the right direction on his initial escape. It's great to see Bo-Katan playing a more prominent role in the show, and I'm hoping to see Din sway more to her than keep chasing the armourer's ways. But having said that, perhaps with the revelation of the mythosaur, Bo-Katan may be more inclined to go back towards the more traditional Mandalorian ways in an attempt to reunite and strengthen Mandalore. I can't wait for the next one. Another show I've been watching recently is Star Trek Picard Season 3. Now, I'm not going to go into much detail with this one, but Season 3 has been surprisingly good. Now, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy Season 1 and Season 2 wasn't too bad. However, Season 2 didn't quite live up to my expectation. I feel that they really let the Borg down. They no longer feel like the threat they once were. Season 3, on the other hand, has got me a little bit. I think it's a nostalgia thing, because alongside some of the new characters, we are now seeing some of the next generation characters return, including decent support roles for Captain Riker, Jonathan Frakes, Beverly Crusher Gates McFadden, and of course, the surprise, well, at least for me, return of Lieutenant Worf, played by Michael Dorn. I heard years ago that Michael Dorn was supposed to be getting his very own spin-off, which would have been very cool. For some reason, it never happened. If you haven't yet delved into the world of Picard, and you're a fan of Star Trek The Next Generation, I'd definitely check it out, at least for a little bit of nostalgia. I might go into this a little deeper another time. You can see the third season of Picard streaming on Paramount Plus and Amazon Prime.